Envision the hustle and bustle of a metropolitan transit center, softened by the melodic sounds of Bach played as you wait your next transfer. No panhandlers, no CD salespeople, just relaxing Baroque suites. If you can make that image work, you've pictured Bach in the subway's day. A movement crossing the globe and coming to Seattle this spring. Dale Henderson, the man behind this concept, joins us by phone this morning from Manhattan.
Dale, good morning.
Hi, Rodney. How you doing?
Dale, tell us a little bit about how Bach in the Subways came to be and when.
Bach in the Subways began in early 2010 with me alone playing Bach in the subways of New York City. I refused donations and at the same time made available to listeners little 4x6 postcards about classical music, explaining what it was and why it was wonderful. And basically the idea behind it was, let me go out and offer this incredible art form that sadly many people in the U.S. have never even seen. And in that way, sow the seeds for future generations of classical music lovers. So I began this project alone, and it always felt really, personally for me, incredible. I always felt with certainty that there was something special in it. And what happened over the months and years that I began doing this, from early 2010 to the first Bach on the Subways Day, which was March 21st, 2011, was that it started attracting attention. It attracted attention from listeners and subway commuters, and also from media sources, big media sources, little media sources. It worked. It drew people's attention to what I was doing into classical music by extension. On March 21st, 2011, which was Bach's 326th birthday, cellist Eric Edberg suggested, well, why don't we get a bunch of people doing this on Bach's birthday? And I said, that's a great idea. So we did, and the first year, the bunch of people was 3 cellists, including me. And we went and did Bach on the Subways in different spots in the subways of New York City. And thus, Bach on the Subways Day was born. The idea grew the next year, in 2012, into 13 people in the subways of New York City. And it attracted some big media attention because I think it was an unusual idea, and it was an attractive idea. And then it just kept growing. So in 2014, no, that was 2012, sorry. So 2012, there were 13 people. 2014, there were 45 people in New York and then a few other cities. And in 2014, there were 77 people in, I think, 8 U.S. cities and 3 or 4 other countries across the world. And what happened starting a little before the 2014 Bach on the Subways Day and has been growing exponentially is that people and organizers literally around the world have been stepping forward and saying, wow, this is such a great idea. We love it. We want to get on board. And so we have now this incredible team of organizers in Seattle who are working daily to bring Bach on the Subways Day to Seattle. We have organizers in LA, Tokyo, Korea. We have people signing up for this movement. It's basically a movement of artists who, love our art form and feel, a lot of the U.S. classical musicians feel like it's threatened because the organizations are struggling. And regardless, that's the darker side of the story, but the brighter side of the story is that it's just a bunch of artists who want to bring something they're very passionate about and love to the rest of the world so that we can share it with them.
Dale, that's an exciting story. You indicated that it was Bach's solo cello suites that you were performing solo to begin with. Why Bach? There were a number of other Baroque giants that you could have listened to or played. How did you settle on Bach as the artist to be playing, and how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a good question, Rodney. I always connected deeply and on a personal level with Bach, and I think I'm in good company with that, what many musicians have. So there was that personal element to it. And then from a purely practical point of view, when I considered what I was doing, okay, I'm going down into the subways, I'm going to play alone without any accompaniment, and I need to be able to play for, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. The Bach suites just seemed like the perfect fit because he wrote these 6 suites which last, if you play them all back to back, it's a little over 3 hours of music. So they work. They work for a cellist who needs to be able to just keep playing alone and play good music for a few hours. Bach's intention with this music was to present a complete work of music for one solo instrument. So whereas if you're playing, the part from a Haydn cello concerto, it's going to sound wonderful, but it was intended to be played with an entire orchestra behind you. Or if you're playing the part from a Brahms sonata, it's going to sound great, but it's chamber music. It was meant to be played with a piano. So the Bach suites are kind of unusual in that they were intended to be played alone and to be complete and, whole and satisfying as solo pieces.
Has your own repertoire for what you've played changed drastically, or are you still pretty close to what you always played?
People just understand what we're doing without even necessarily reading anything or doing anything other than showing up and experiencing it. What's amazed me is how the spirit behind it seems so strong that it doesn't need a lot of advertisement, it doesn't need sales, it doesn't need anything other than just people being near it and feeling the joy and the excitement and the purity of what we're doing and just getting excited and joining up.
Dale, thank you for joining us this morning. We look forward to speaking with you again soon. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too, Rodney. Thanks.